Okay, well, my name is Thalia and when I think about my involvement with mental health, it was very much inadvertent. I'm 34 years old now, and when I was 16 years old, my teacher in 10th grade told my parents that she thought I was depressed. In retrospect, there was a lot going on for me at the time. It was a very, very difficult time socially. I was experiencing body image issues. I was somebody who was extremely intelligent and was not really challenged in the environment that I was in, and was very much struggling to find a fit. And I was also extremely impressionable as well. And when I was taken to I now believe this was a Freudian psychoanalyst, she told my mom that the problem was that there was obviously something wrong with our family dynamic, and that I had a chemical imbalance, and that she would prescribe medication. So I was put on a tricyclic antidepressant called imipramine, and that was kind of the beginning of my undoing. I have a very long and sordid story that I was drugged over the course of probably the last 19 years, off and on. I never really believed that I had a mental illness, but my self-esteem was non-existent because I felt shamed, because I was a very trusting and open person. I was the top of my class in a class of 4,000. I was very hardworking, loved school. I disclosed to the school that I suffered from depression and that I was on medication. Well, that was the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life, because I was systematically targeted by the school's administration, who conspired to get me kicked out because they thought that I was addicted to drugs. So I basically lost my entire identity. I went to a private school. I pretended I didn't know any of my friends. I stopped talking to my parents, and I had no idea what was happening. I developed a very serious case of PTSD, but I had no idea that was what was going on. I just thought that I was crazy. And I've been dealing with that ever since, and I've been trying to make a life for myself, and without understanding how much trauma I was carrying. I think I possess a unique gift in that I'm extremely emotionally aware of trauma and of the impact that very, very subtle things have on somebody's developing psyche. And it's a gift that I've used my whole life to treat people the way that I wanted to be treated by the system. And the verbal abuse, the physical abuse, the victimization that I have encountered, all because nobody was there to mirror my suffering in a time when I was completely helpless, is something that I would not wish on my worst enemy. Now, the story does not end badly in that I have used a lot of my own creativity to survive. I've become a seasoned outdoors woman, I've become a neuroscientist, but the point is that I had to feel like I was proving myself over and over and over and over and over again, because my entire life was destroyed by, a diagnosis, by the feeling that I was shamed, that I was cursed, that I wasn't okay the way that I was. And I was somebody who had immense potential. I was extremely quiet, extremely shy, and I stopped talking after this happened to me. I completely lost the ability to feel any emotion, and I was numb for over 15 years. And that's essentially what was happening. That was being diagnosed as a mental illness and repeatedly treated with chemicals, treated with behavior therapy, and treated with abuse, frankly. And I, in spite of myself, I always had the survivor mentality. I've known the things that help for me. I'm a vegan, I'm an athlete, I'm outspoken about who I am, and I have very, very strong morals and values and ethics. And I really believe that this is a human issue. I don't know why we're ashamed to have emotions. I don't know why we're ashamed to come out and say when people are hurting us. I don't know why we're ashamed, to be the people that we are. And I really think that that's what's at the heart of psychiatry, is it's control. It's nothing but control. And frankly, I think that that's weak. And it's an excuse for not dealing with problems where they are. And it would be so much simpler and so much more cost effective, since I know that's what policymakers want to hear, to treat people like people instead of, thinking of solutions, as it were. I mean, without dialogue, without interaction, without people, without engagement, without creativity, I really think we're just repeating the mistakes of the past. Why don't we just talk to people and ask them what they're experiencing? Because I really think that it's giving people voice is the only way. It's the only way that we're going to really be able to understand where we've gone wrong. And I think we have made terrible mistakes as a society. I'm an advocate, and I'm somebody who really just believes in treating people like people. And that's all I ever wanted. And I feel very lucky at this point in my life that I was able to officially say, I'm rejecting this label, I'm rejecting this diagnosis. I'm the person I am, I've always been this person. Yes, I go through sadness, yes, I go through extreme states, but frankly, I don't see that as a problem. I see that as a strength. So, basically I'm giving the middle finger to the system at this point, and my self-care is impeccable. So, when I hear people talking about, oh, it's okay if you get fat, if you're taking medications, I'm like, no, it's not okay, actually. I live in my body. And in American society, we don't really live in our bodies, is the reality. We really don't. And I just think we make things way too complicated. I really believe that healing is about modeling. It's about modeling trust, modeling safe behavior, modeling acceptance, modeling, that it's okay for people to have extreme emotions. It's okay for them to be vulnerable. It's okay to not know what's going to happen to you. And it's not a circumstance where somebody needs to be put away or they need to be judged. I think that there are things that every human being needs. When we're suffering, we need nurturing, we need kindness, we need dialogue, we need a chance to be ourselves. We need a chance to, get pissed, frankly, and not have to be locked up for it. Because life is really hard, and it's really challenging, and I think that as you're dumbing and numbing people as they start to go through their life's journey, that is really selling short all of the gifts that people are born with.